Good afternoon, guys. The Enthusiast. I have a question that I want to propose to you guys about my RPG map, which I have not talked about in quite some time. I have recently been playing around with a really cool mod called World Painter, which allows you to paint and customize your own Minecraft world in 2D, and then export it into Minecraft as a new world. Now, this is a very helpful tool for someone who would be making something like, I don't know, an RPG map. Because with the map I had been working on, it was very random, unpredictable, and very difficult to do cool things like canyons and rivers, as you had seen in previous updates about my RPG map. My canyon, while was cool, it was very clustered and not pretty. The only problem about the World Painter is it's difficult to get everything exactly the way you want. Like, you don't get really cool landscapes like some of the random generator can get you. The seed I've been using for my RPG map is actually really neat. So now I'm going to propose the ultimate question. I'm going to show you this map I created in World Painter. If you guys decide on World Painter, I probably won't be using exactly this map. I'll customize my own and I'll put a lot of work on it so I can get some really neat landscapes. But anyways, I'm going to show you just this little map I made in not very long of a time in World Painter, if it'll ever freaking load. I'll get lower, maybe. Loading very slowly. But anyways, this is a lake with a huge mountain in the center, some hills, and this is a river I made, which then stretches out into what appears to be a wider river and into the ocean. It's loading very slowly, very slowly. Although I am flying, so that might be putting a strain on it. The beauties about the World Painter is, yeah, you can do things like making a river, which looks very natural compared to trying to make one out of TNT or something. And then you can make mountains, but they look not as natural compared to the things you'll find in the random generator. They look more like weird towers, which I could use to make things out of in my RPG map. This mountain looks a little bit better, but of course it is just using the mountain tool. You can make really, really thick forests, which is pretty neat and helpful. So the World Painter would allow me to make a more refined RPG map. I'd have to start over, but I'd have more of an end goal because I'd know my boundaries. It would just go off into an endless ocean or a giant mountain. Whereabouts? Man, I wish this would load faster. That's because I'm moving around too much in the map. Anyways, I did put a limit on the map, so it's not endless. It would be enough to have like 4 kingdoms. And of course, if you guys decided on the World Painter, then I would create a new one. So yeah, while I can't show you, here's more of a river that I made in World Painter. So that's one neat thing, is that rivers look nice. They add to the overall feel of the world. And there's not much of that. You have to completely make them all manually in a generated map. Canyons, etc. So that's one pro about the World Painter. A con would be, yeah, the land is pretty flat for the most part. There's no like really overarching, really cool mountains or landscapes. You can kind of do a bit of that in World Painter, but It's very difficult. The rest I'd have to customize myself manually. So, despite the super laggy world, slow loading, it's kind of what the world painter would be like. Rivers, really dense forests, like I did this using a forest tool. It'd be really cool for some of the things I have in mind. Like if you go down here, really, really dense. It'd be kind of neat for some segments of the map. It actually looks just like a forest, kind of, in the blocky form. And you don't really see things like this in a generated world unless you planted them all manually, which would take forever. Just like a lot of the other things that you can do in World Painter that you can't do in a generated world. River just looks really neat. So yeah, those are some advantages to the World Painter. And I want you to help me make this decision, because I've been thinking about my RPG map a lot lately, and working on it, and possibly even recruiting some people to help. So here's a glimpse of what the World Painter could offer, possibly a bit more if I took more time making one. Now, I will show you guys my RPG map. Now, bear in mind I haven't worked on it a lot, so there isn't much new. Anyways, 1 second. Alright, I am back in my RPG map. And this was one of the first places I showed in a video. As you can see, nothing has changed. So, one of the downsides of the randomly generated map is there's a lot of open land, which makes it harder to fill, because it just goes on and on and on. There are no boundaries, but there are also lots of cool formations too. Like that is pretty neat looking. This is kind of neat looking. So, you know, like the overhangs. So it's hard to say. I'll leave the decision up to you. I'll briefly go around and check out the whole area for the first time. Oh god. Maybe if I go lower. So let's go over here. But yeah, completely random map, so it's not as exciting. Well, no, it's more exciting, I should say. But just goes on and on. Easy to get lost because there are no boundaries. Oh, I have found a path. That's one thing I've been doing a lot, is making pathways that leads to everything, because it's a pretty vast map. This is the canyon. Now, you saw the rivers that I made in the World Painter. Compare them to this piece of crap. I want an area that has like a really huge bridge over like a gaping canyon, because it would be a cool place for PvP. Plus you could burn the whole bridge down, that'd be pretty intense. Anyways, when the path goes along, like, look, well, don't look, it's lagging a lot. Dear Lord. Yeah, look at all this open land. So much to fill. The only upside is like cool overhangs like this. Like, that looks awesome. You didn't see any cool mountains or landscapes like this in the World Painter because it's all very boring. Like, look at that. and that. Ugh. So can you understand my plight? Anyways, and this random floating piece, all randomly generated. Oh god, lagging again. Anyways, jeez, this is bad. My computer does not like flying all of a sudden. Ugh, let's not fly then. Maybe that'll... Wow! I can't even tell what's happening anymore. Oh, I'm still flying. That doesn't help. Anyways. So, fly over here. Path goes along this area, and again, more unused open land. Here's a little outpost over this overhang. Something you probably wouldn't really find in World Painter unless I carved it out, which wouldn't be too bad. Oh, this lag is pissing me off. And again, another cool overhang. Down, please. There we go. Alright, let's just not fly anymore. Ugh! This lag is destroying my soul. 1 second. Or maybe that'll help a little bit. Anyways, let's go over this bridge. I made this little tiny river by hand, because there are no rivers in randomly generated areas. I made it look as natural as possible, and it kind of does. Not as natural as, say, the ones in World Painter. The only downside is, well, this little tiny river... Lag again. Wow. Minecraft. You suck. I apologize for this lag. Let's fly. Anyways, this little tiny itty bitty river took me like 4 hours. Such a waste of time. Could be better spent on building towns and structures. And not lagging. So, you've seen this place. Ship, town, lighthouse, church, all that stuff. I built all these rivers and waterways too. Took a... Wow. Lag. Oh my god. Took a long time just to build this little tiny town. Well, let's go over here. Again, lots of open land, cool landscape, but where in World Painter you could flatten out areas that you plan to build, take 2 seconds, man, this lag was ridiculous. I apologize in advance. This doesn't look very good, but something I can do. Okay. Yeah. Flattening out all this land took me, I don't know, 5-6 hours just to build this, where I could do it in World Painter in like 2 seconds. See, the thing is, you can't use an already made map into World Painter. It has to be fresh, or else I would have just done that. So I do like a lot of things about this map. That's why I'm conflicted and I want your help. And let's go over here. Now here's some stuff that I've added that you have not seen. You've seen pictures of this little tiny town. Ooh, floating island! See, that looks cool. You won't see anything like that in World Painter. This little port dock area. Been working on an outside village for the town. Haven't got much of it done. Again, it's probably something I might need to enlist help to do, but I need your advice. Should I use World Painter and start over? I'd be able to get a lot done quickly because I'll already have a lot of the areas flattened out for me and set up, because I'd set it up like with places already in mind. It's another advantage of World Painter. But then you would like difficult decision. I have done a lot of path work through open fields and stuff, and I've set up other things too, like over here. Ominous trees are ominous. Oh, secret dungeon. What's down there, I wonder? Oh, dungeon. Oh, nope, sneak peek over. Yeah, so I have put a lot of work into this map. But I am inclined to want to start over on World Painter, because I could customize the map more freely before I start on it. I will leave the ultimate decision up to you guys. What should I do? I like this map, but again, it'll be difficult overall to refine this place to a good finished project, because it's just open-ended. World Painter, I'd at least have an ending goal. And I could try my best when customizing the map to make it as cool landscapey as possible, like a lot of the stuff here. Like, I wanted to build something cool over here coming up, a big castle in this thing. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I apologize for all the lag. My computer sucks. I will leave the final decision up to you guys. Do I continue on this and enlist some help for the bigger projects such as making canyons and rivers? Or do I start in World Painter and probably still enlist some help and start from scratch and have a more refined finished product at the end? Leave a comment or video response in the description. Let me know what you think. I need to know soon. Thank you. See you later.